y'all, it's the Ringside Club Paul. A.O. Blame Boogie, Chad Law. The power's back, triple power bomb. The big dog trio in the stream yard. Go outside, hit the venue guard. It's all love when you see us, Lord. Back to the pad, on air for the pod. Ringside Club, intro to the squad. Let the show start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace, 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 peace. Of course, peace to the gods, peace to the earth, man. You got 2/3 of the mightiest. This is episode number 121. Like we usually do, man. We back at it, man. Thursday night live, 905 live,
We missed y'all.
broadcasting. Yeah, of course, it's all love, man. He thought we wasn't gonna come back. We're back, man. Got a pay-per-view coming up this weekend. Lots happening. There's 2 shows on right now, TNA and Collision. So there's a lot happening in the world of professional wrestling, but
It's Collision Thursdays?
Yeah, Collision is on right now. Collision
They
is
be
on right now.
switching the days back and forth like every other week, yo. Like you really gotta be paying extra close attention because Excalibur could read past that whole schedule and you just be like, yo, I didn't even know what day they said that this whole card was gonna be on. So I ain't even know Collision was on tonight. Crazy.
While I was I knew it was on, I had it kind of on in the background a little bit. I got Impact running, but I was like, there's no way, like I can't watch both and set the show up, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go back and tap in. I know there's supposed to be a nice little AJ Francis and Mike Santana street fight. I didn't know, by the way, that the main event for the TNA pay-per-view next month was that Slammiversary, right? I didn't know that was a Joe Hendry rematch against Trick Williams. I guess they established that yesterday on NXT.
That's the lane they're going. I also want to believe that Mike Santana could still be added to this match.
That's what I think is happening. I feel like we talked about it before where I said it might be a triple threat.
It's got to get out the window. Like I mess with AJ Francis, but yo, we definitely gonna have to part ways with that feud in about 2 weeks' time. Come the next taping, that feud got to be done. Have their kickoff, blow off feud, and end it, and then move Mike up the ranks.
But I figure, like I feel like we mentioned before, or I mentioned before, that a triple threat would make sense. You know what I'm saying, for that title. But we'll get into talking about TNA and getting to talking about specifics. But before we get into all that, make sure you follow us everywhere. That's across all social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Threads. Right here, we're broadcasting on X/Twitter. Of course, we're broadcasting on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all other podcast platforms. Of course, I go by the name of A.O. Baker. Chad, what up?
Kid CHADLAW Chad Law, currently in that PMF cap. Yeah, I mean, shout out to my man Blame Boogie. Today's pack sponsored by that lemon pound cake. So we're gonna see how this hits as the episode goes on. We're gonna talk some good graps. It's been a while, but y'all know we've been online. We got merchandise, we got album reviews, we got a lot of things cooking up in the pipeline. Pause. But salute to everybody that's communicating with us on the chats, on Twitter, on Instagram, liking and sharing and reposting. It's much love to y'all. It's the almighty RSC. It don't matter how many weeks we take off. We're going to come back with a bang every single trip. It's going to be a good episode. It's a lot of matches that are going to be on the docket as far as this cup coming PLE. And we're going to get through them in the next couple of minutes. So stay locked, like and subscribe.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it all, man. Looking forward to a nice full summer. It's officially summer now, so right in that summer season, there's a lot happening as far as
right now, man.
Yeah, that nice little breeze today was a nice departure from the previous 3 days. 3 days was
it's crazy. It felt like it was hotter here than in the South. I just came back from Charlotte and Atlanta, so I saw the comparison and I was like, nah, it's brutal up here right now.
Like New York is not like 105 real feel, 110 real feel.
Disgusting summer on deck, but we need more calm, cool days like how today was. I'm here for it. We got some rain on the docket as well, but we ain't the weatherman. We a wrestling gang and we the Ringside Club.
Peace to my good sir Jermaine. Just got his joint just touched down. Just post that on the timeline in real time. in real time, man.
Did. That's
You
good.
know what I
That's
mean?
good.
If I may say so myself, the hardest wrestling hat as far as independence, as far as independent hat companies, I got the inventory in this room right now, and
Yo,
ain't
man, the
really, you know what I mean?
material A1, y'all. Make sure y'all see this,
Oh, hold
man.
up. You know what? Let me see if
Good
I can flip.
quality, man.
Let me see if I can flip your camera. There we go. There we go. So they could read it correctly, man. Everything is pro wrestling at Leather Trucker. Wrestle Hats 2 is in the works right now, going through a couple of designs. I got two that's on the table right now. We're gonna narrow it down to what we're moving with. But anyway, before we get into, we don't really need to plug too much else. Before we get into actually talking about this pay-per-view, of course, was it Night of Champions that's coming up this weekend?
United
We
Champions.
over in Saudi. There's a couple of interesting little items on the news docket that I'm gonna run through real
Shoot.
quick. First of all, some good news, man. The OG Jim Ross, 73 years old, he announced that he is definitely cancer free. He had that
But,
colon cancer surgery last month, and it went off pretty well. You know what I mean? Successful.
man, see,
So Jim
one
Ross
time,
is, you can't boomer sooner, man. You can't keep that man down.
Oklahoma, man, stand up, man. The Thunder got it done. Jim Ross beat cancer, man. You love to see it, y'all. What a time for
Absolutely.
Oklahoma. Legendary.
Absolutely. This was one of my favorite pieces of news from today. Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7, Busted Open Radio. Your man Dave LaGreca has started that show. I think it was an hour once a week, however many years ago. Fast forward, and the demand has grown and the brand has grown over there on Sirius XM. That Pro Wrestling Nation is going to be the name of the 24-hour wrestling radio channel that goes live on July 1st. Busted Open obviously is going to be running like 7 days a week. They're on every day.
Yeah,
Cheap Heat,
definitely.
Peter Rosenberg, Stat Guy Greg, they're going to be live over there. Cheap Heat live. I saw a bunch of names that were involved. All the usual suspects. I think Sam Roberts is going to be over there.
Nice.
There's a lot of people that have been in that sphere, and now they're definitely locking in at least one show from somebody other than the Busted Open team per day. But I'm looking forward to it, man. Like, I've been a subscriber to Sirius for some time. I dip and dab as far as Busted Open is concerned. And Busted Open, by the way, was one of the reasons why I got the Sirius XM subscription in the first place. So congrats to over there, specifically Dave LaGreca, because that's his baby, man. He's been building that for a very, very long time. So that goes live on July 1st. I see
Major congrats to that. That's
absolutely,
really
that's
major.
major. That's
Y'all
major.
gonna have to y'all gonna see the RSC a part of that soon enough, man. Best believe. You know what I'm saying?
Manifest that.
We're gonna be putting belt to A with that, man. You know, I haven't really been the
Manifest that.
most communicative and tuned into Busted Open on the last couple of I think what it was for me, it's really like Dave LaGreca in the shouting, I think at times, and the screaming, I think is what the cursing, it gets a lot. You know how we trying to keep it clean on the RSC. I've been appreciating clean podcasts and clean listens. So he did an episode recently where he tried to go clean, and it worked. It actually was probably the best episode I've heard. But you know, then it just starts to turn into the backyard barbecue, and it just it is pretty vulgar. But that aside, though, it's a big deal. Shout to the Busted Open community and the Busted Open family. Salute from the RSC, man. It's major.
Absolutely. Major moves July 1st, Pro Wrestling 24/7 on Sirius XM. I saw that they're making the news rounds today is a Street Fighter movie that Roman Reigns is going to be playing in.
That wasn't a joke. That wasn't a meme.
Nah, it's legit. There's a couple names. It almost reminds me like the way that I'm coming across these names because they're all like action stars. Like I saw 50 Cent, for example. He's gonna play Balrog, the boxer from Street Fighter. Roman Reigns gonna
All
play
right.
Akuma. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the was it the Expendables, like the old action action heroes or whatever. But I
Yeah.
think that's set to start production in Australia sometime in August. So look for, I guess Roman Reigns will be making a cameo at some point in WWE and then back out to go and film that Street Fighter movie. But that seems like it's legit. I saw a couple reputable news outlets reporting on that today.
Should be a good one. The previews go out at some point. I'm sure we're going to be all enjoying the memes that'll come from it.
100%. And then just a couple of names here that's either on the injured list or just had surgery or going to be on the injured list for a while. Kevin Owens, he was on the Cody Rhodes podcast. What do you want to talk about recently? I think that dropped either yesterday, day before, sometime recently. He said he was trying to kind of wait to see if his neck could start healing by itself without having to have surgery. He's experiencing numbness and weakness, and of course, the pain is already there. So he is going to have neck surgery. It's pretty much unavoidable at this point. So shouts to him.
Get well soon. Get well.
Absolutely. Chad Gable is out. Don't know exactly what that injury is, but I did read that he's expected to have a surgery soon. I saw Elijah, Elias, whatever you want to call him. He just recently had successful tricep surgery. I was putting this show
Tough
together.
call with him, bro.
Yeah, we just he just started really getting back in the mix. And while I was putting this show together, I saw that they announced that on TNA that he just had successful tricep surgery. And Casey Navarro, he's out with a knee injury. So a couple of names over there in TNA, and just a couple of names in general.
Then
And then
you forgot
finally,
Grande Americano. He's
yep.
out with it.
Matter of fact, I got him right here. Chad Gable, he's out, and
Nah,
he's expected
El
to have
Grande Americano.
no, but
It's
both of them are out, and both of
yeah,
them are expected to have surgery.
all
And
right.
there is no timetable for the return of either Chad Gable or Grande Americano. So
There we go. Can't leave out El Grande Americano, man. It's the greatest
absolutely,
luchador of all time.
absolutely. Well, wow. I mean, let's not get crazy.
Worlds
He's
collide.
yeah,
We haven't talked since then.
yeah. No, I mean we've talked, but just not on the air. I think the last episode was a
Yeah. But we
I think
haven't
it was
popped
a
it.
preview issue, preview episode, pardon me, for AEW's last pay-per-view. Was the
Yeah,
last
we
time we
haven't.
were on.
Yeah, we
Been a
haven't
little bit.
potted about that. About that. Yeah. I mean, we just gonna
It's
talk
all
Night of
good.
Champions
Yeah,
today.
nah, we'll get into what's going on, but we'll be back as far as like actual, in regular rotation, so how we
Yeah, for
say,
sure.
because there's a lot going on. I definitely want to, make sure we talk about
Hmm.
it all. But this last little piece, I mentioned Kevin Owens on Cody Rhodes podcast earlier. Speaking of Cody, he had an interesting, I want to get your take on this. He had an interesting comment about how long he sees himself remaining a babyface. This is the quote. I do think we're probably at the tail end of it because there's only so much someone can like you. I'd like to do it until the end of my career, but at some point, it's like, all right, all we do is cheer for him. Eventually, fans want to see something else. How do you feel about that from Cody Rhodes?
Let's go with this John Cena route and just wait till the tail end of his career. Right now, the reaction that Cody Rhodes gets and the love that he receives almost surpasses Jey Uso. And it's like you just can't beat that, man. You just can't turn that heel. Like it might have worked for this feud with Cena because people are already just cheering Cena anyways. So if he turned Cody heel and left Cena as a face, we've got something here. But if it's just gonna be to turn heel to feud with Sami Zayn, I'm not wasting a Cody heel turn on that. And I love Sami Zayn, but there's just certain let's leave it alone. I'm not buying. I'm not buying what Cody Rhodes is selling on this. I can hear it 5 years from now, but no time soon.
5 years is a long time. Yo, peace to the Black Guy Wrestling Pod. Said in
Geysers.
family, you know what I mean? Peace to the family over there. Um, yeah, I think like the end of Cody's career is kind of tough because I think he has a pretty long run left in him.
Mm-hmm.
He even mentioned later on in this quote that he sees that being somewhere around the next anywhere from a year out to somewhere around 2 to 3 years
Right.
in that 1 to 3 year window. Which of course, like I thought that they did a very smart thing by pulling him off TV for a little bit right after Mania, after he lost that title, because you were starting to hear some boos creep in while we were getting closer and closer to WrestleMania. And you never know what direction that's going to go in. Is that legit heat that he's getting? Are people getting tired of the act? Is it just we're in the middle of WrestleMania season and there's just a lot going on? Not necessarily sure what the reasoning is, but there
Mm-hmm.
were boos. And I was very vocal a bunch of times saying that he's a go hard, and somebody that goes that hard starts to wear on the fans after a while because it's like, bro, like we get it. You don't have to light yourself on fire to get us to buy into whatever story you're trying to tell. Sooner or later, people are going to get tired of that. You know what I mean? So I think he was smart to come off TV, and he's doing his thing now. But I see him like in the next year and a half. I see by the time, not this Mania obviously, but by the time we get to the following Mania, which would be 42, I believe. 41 is this year that just passed, or 42, 43, let's say. WrestleMania 43. I think we get a heel Cody Rhodes by then.
Valid points. I think it's all very valid with that, on the Cody heel turn. Yeah, me not so much.
We'll
I'm
see.
head of the Codyverse, man. I love the Codyverse. Anytime Cody comes out, it just makes everything that much better. He just makes the vibe right. You know what I'm saying? Whoa! Like we all love it here. You know what I mean? I just don't want to see Cody be a heel anytime soon. The fans love this guy too much for him to be a heel. I can't see it happening.
Valid, valid. It didn't work out for Austin when he turned heel. So sometimes it's just best to don't try to fix what's not broken. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So that's what I have as far as news is concerned. Anything on your docket, or do you want to go straight into the pay-per-view?
We could do a quick Champions Watch. It's been a minute. We did this with the
Let's
Champions
do it.
Watch. So check it out, y'all. This is our recurring segment on the RSC Champions Watch. We each pick a champion and we go through their week and what's to come, how we feel about their reign. I'm gonna go with the fella who just made the entry on the BRP 50 list, Trick Williams, top 10. That boy rounded out the list real well in his placement. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Trick Willie. Currently the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Nice reign right now. It's a cool reign. It's very cool. He's just getting by as a heel, even though people want to cheer him. I don't really think he needs to lose the belt back to Joe Henry because I think Joe Henry's steam maybe hasn't cooled all the way off, but it definitely does not need to be the face of TNA yet again when there's Mike Santana right here and a slew of other people like Mustafa Ali and a few other names that are waiting in the wings that we can start reverting the belt over to. So, Trick Willie, I hope if he does face Joe Henry, he defeats Joe Henry and he actually keeps the belt and just rolls over through to Santana next. And Santana is the guy who gets his win back against Trick Williams.
So let me ask you: in a one-on-one match, you think Trick should beat Joe Hendry, but if that turns into the triple threat that we talked about earlier with Santana, who do you see taking that?
Santana. The love that Santana is going to get in New York is going to overtake Joe Henry's presence for that main event.
1,000%. I mean, bro, this is
Crowd might
exactly what I
hijack.
said.
Crowd
This is
might
exactly
hijack
what I
it and
said a
just be
few.
whoop
Yeah,
that Trick,
yeah.
whoop that. Like it's New York.
I
This
think
ain't
this ain't
Louisville.
anywhere else, bro. I think the novelty of Joe Hendry is gonna get a couple of people that's gonna get up for the entrance, and then the bell is gonna ring, and you're gonna realize you're in a guy that lives around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Up the
It's
block,
around the
like
corner pro.
around the corner pro, baby. Around the corner pro. Like,
The
do you know
around the
what
corner
time it
pro
is?
comes out,
You
and that's when things is about to
hello.
get. It could get a little slow throughout the
Like,
course of
what are
that
we
main event.
talking
A
about?
little simulaic, if you will. So
Yeah, what are we talking about? So I agree. Like, I think told you that's why I was surprised earlier when I tuned in, 'cause I didn't catch any of the highlights or any news from NXT yesterday. So I'm like, all right, Joe Hendry's back, but that's the match? Really? Like, all right, let me see.
that's the match they should give away on NXT Great American Heat Wave or something. Like one of the little throwaway PLEs that they do every 2 weeks. They gotta just let that Joe Henry match get off on that one, yo. I really don't think that needs
But
to be Slammiversary. Is that confirmed for
yeah, right
Slammiversary?
now the card says there's 3 matches confirmed as according to their Wikipedia. So aside from the TNA World Championship match, Trick Williams against Joe Hendry, we got Moose and Leon Slater, and then there's a 4-way for the tag team championships. It's the Nemeths, Nick and Ryan. They defend against the Hardys, the Rascals, and First Class AJ Francis and Casey Navarro. But Casey Navarro is out, so not sure exactly who's going to be, lining up with AJ Francis for that, or if they move AJ Francis to something else. But at least we know whatever's happening with AJ Francis and Mike Santana right now is not being booked for the pay-per-view, which would then say, like, all right, so what do you exactly do with Mike Santana but put him in the main event?
Probably more feud with Ali.
Why? Like, you know what I mean?
That
Like,
sounds crazy. Yeah, I'm saying I
yeah, that feels like a
did that
very
already.
weird thing to shoehorn with, not that much time left you know, before we get to the pay-per-view. Which, by the way,
Tough
we
call.
gotta talk off
Tough.
air and figure this ticket situation out. Yeah, because
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta
Slammiversary vibes.
move. We gotta move.
UBS Arena.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
movie.
Yes, sir. Heard rumblings of another event that may or may not be taking place around that time too. So be in the area, folks. You know what I mean? So your champion is Trick Williams, he said.
Yeah, my champion is Trick Willie. Who you got?
It's a great question. It's a great question. You know what? Since we haven't been on in a while, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna go to AEW. I'm gonna go to WWE, and I'm also gonna go to TNA and just pull up who are the current champions. Period. I'm gonna switch it up a bit. Over in AEW right now, John Moxley is the world champ. Tony Storm for now is the women's world champ. Mercedes Moné, TBS champ. Hurt Syndicate is still the tag champs. Okada and Omega on a collision course for that new unified championship, but that's the Continental and the International champ. Intercontinental was right there, but whatever. The Ops are the trios champs. Adam Cole is the TNT champion. Over in WWE, Cena, WWE champ. Gunther, world heavyweight champ. Io Sky, women's world champ. Tiffany Stratton, the WWE women's champ. Dom Intercontinental, Jacob Fatu, US. Becky Lynch, Intercontinental. Zelina Vega, US. El Grande Americano is the current speed champ, so I guess that goes to Venkit. Sol Ruka's the speed champ. New Day, world tag champ. Street Profits, tag champs. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, tag champs. Obafemi, JC Jane, Ethan Page, Sol Ruka again, Hank and Tank, and Stacks. I don't even know who that is.
The worst tag division ever of all time, next to AEW.
You know what? I like AEW right now. I like what they're
AEW's
doing.
tag division is
Yeah, they're getting it together. I like what they're doing with Jet Speed. They're building them up, not necessarily for a title win, but they're building them up to be a credible challenger at some point. Really, I see this being an FTR division. That's the collision course. Like FTR, I think I saw today that FTR is officially the winningest tag team in AEW history. You know what I mean? So that's really their division, even though the Hurt Syndicate has those titles right now. Unless it happens to be a super team that's being put together, like an Osprey and a Swerve, for example, this feels like an FTR type of move. Or we get, like we mentioned before, the MJF turn, and he, brings somebody from out of the woodwork to take down the Hurt Syndicate from the inside. But
my wildest hot take, bro. I don't want the Hurt Syndicate to lose the belt for the next 2 years. I want them to just demolish everyone and everything. I want them to be the longest reigning tag team champions in the modern era because they're the greatest thing on AEW programming.
the Bucks are right there also, by the way, right? I see
I
Bucks.
want them to
If we look
kill
at the
them.
top three, if we look at the top three, I think tag teams in the division, you got FTR, you got the Bucks, and you got the champs. And then you got some teams coming up, is like Jet Speed, for example. But I
All
see
that aside, I
I
just
see
don't
what
think
you're
they ever
saying.
lose the belts though. They get the Roman Reigns run. Like who could realistically beat behemoths like Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin?
It would
They
have to
should
be an
not.
MJF move.
And
It would
that,
it would, it would have to be an MJF move because it's not going to be by brute force. It's going to be by somebody outsmarting somebody else.
but you know what? I'm so cool with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate that like, yo, let it rock like the Bloodline for like another year. Like, yo, keep it going. Don't even have us like tease that like, oh, they're gonna. It's just like, nah, yo, this is literally how it's about to be. Y'all gave us the Death Riders for however long y'all have given us the Death Riders, yo. I'm tired of failed MJF factions every quarter. You know what I'm saying? There was a run of just a new MJF faction. It came, it went, it had a match, and it was over. Like, nah, let this
Yeah.
the Hurt Syndicate ish rock. Like,
And you know why I agree with you also is it feels like they finally are in the groove of defined heels. You know
yes,
what I mean? Like it took them a little while. They were kind of pump faking. All of us, it felt. Remember before I said it felt a little random. Why all of a sudden, MVP is just dissing the crowd. It's like that little bit of MJF injection. All of a sudden now MVP is dissing the crowd. So I feel like that's what they wanted to do, but they didn't really commit to it. Fast forward from whenever that episode was to yesterday's episode, they figured it out as far as like, nah, we're heels. We're in the groove of being a heel. We're committed to the
but
to,
you
to
know
the act
what?
right now.
The crowd's still gonna let you know We are people.
Nah, but they'll
We
do that
are
for the
people.
song. They'll do that for the song, but they're starting to boom during the segments now.
They are. They definitely are. Yes, for sure. Compared to the baby faces that they need to be against, yes. Because those guys, as much as we love them, should not be the bubbly baby faces. They should be the villainous dominant heels. Although I would love a collision course with the Death Riders at some point before that faction crumbles to hell.
Hurt Syndicate, like not a one-to-one comparison as far as style, but it's NWO from the standpoint of cool heel. Like early when it was like just Hall and Nash, for example, right?
Yeah.
Very early on, like you're not supposed to root for these guys, but damn, like I crack a beer with these guys. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
man.
Like it's that type of vibe. But if they're not trying to come off cool anymore. I don't think. At least like not when the song ends. They turn the song on, you can't help it. It's
They
hard.
the cool guys. It's like they spot you at the gym, like Bobby Lashley, like got you, and then like he'll
And
be
they
like,
just push
yeah,
it down on you, right?
he'll fake tease like it's going to drop. Like, oh, it's like, nah, I'm just messing around with you. I got
It's like, damn, bro. I thought we was cool, man.
you. Yeah.
You invited me to the gym, my
Yeah,
boy.
damn, Bob. What
What
we
I do to
doing?
you, Bob?
So what champion you got if you got one?
um, with all that being said, like I'm gonna go Tony Storm because I think Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné, to me, that feud right now is the hottest feud of Tony Storm's reign outside of Mariah May's, the feud with Mariah May. Like this is an honest to God match where I can't really definitively 100% say who's going to win when they do have their match one way or another. And they're
Right.
playing this tit for tat both on Collision, on Dynamite. This is going to go on for the next few weeks until we get to the pay-per-view where they're trying to one up one another, let the games begin. They're jumping each other from behind. They're playing all kind of games, talking all kind of trash, which I like. There's and they're going to continue to up the ante. You know what I mean? Like this isn't going to be like just very simple. At some point, somebody's going to go too far. Somebody's going to push somebody off of something, high. Whatever the case is, the mind games are going to escalate. The feud is going to escalate. But I'm gonna go with Tony Storm because she's been just an amazingly entertaining character, which has
I
carried
agree.
her a lot further. As like I always say, a champ is only as good as the feud. Um, this is a
I
feud
agree.
that kind of matches her character now, like there's a lot to bite into, you know what I mean? So I really like that for Tony Storm because she's been one of the most like early on. This was one of those things where you're not sure what direction this is going to even go in as far as a gimmick, let alone a champion. I saw a lot of people were iffy, a lot of people on the fence. It was very polarizing early on, and they're like,
It
"Oh, why
works, man.
why can't we just have
Funny.
Tony Storm get in there and wrestle?" Well, fast forward, she's one of the biggest stars in that company, two-time women's world champ, or three-time, I think, women's world champion. So I like this. I like this feud for Tony Storm. I think this elevates both of them. This elevates Mercedes and it elevates Tony Storm. Like this is one of those things where once it's all said and done and wrapped up, maybe they go back and forth and there's a rematch later on before the end of the year. A couple of years from now, when we're talking and looking back at, that was a really, really dope feud. Like Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm brought the best out of one another, like a Razor Ramon and a Shawn Michaels when they were in that ladder match mode. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Tony Storm right now, champ of the
What do
week.
you think? Early prediction. What do you think walks out of All In with the belt?
It's tough. It's tough. Like I said, I can't definitively say 100%. Like if I was putting money on it, I'd just be gambling. But that being said, if I do have to pick one, I'm gonna go with Mercedes Moné because man, she has a lot of championships. I think the tell might be if she starts to lose some of those titles on the way to All In, right? Because it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yo, All In is like next week.
But listen, like if she walks in with all of those championships, then she's holding all of those championships for a long time, or she's not going to have that long of an AEW Women's World Title reign. She might win it, and then maybe that just becomes the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. Is too much, and she starts to lose. But I can't see her losing any of those other titles if she's the Women's World Champion.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
What's about to happen? It's
She about to
about
be
to
walking
happen.
around with like 10 joints, B.
It's gonna
I think
happen.
I think it's Mercedes. I think it's Mercedes. But here's what they could do, right? think about like how they try to up the ante. Let's say Mercedes, for whatever reason, has a bunch of title defenses coming up between now and then for all of those other belts. She has a CMLL title, she has the Rev Pro title. I don't know what's booked and what's not booked, but think about how uh Tony Storm can get under her skin by being the one that costs her like all of those matches.
Right.
She defends in CMLL. All of a sudden, Tony Storm pops up from under the ring, holds her foot down while she's getting pinned. Like there's all kind of things that can happen if that's the route that they want to go. But we'll see. We'll see. But gun to head, I might go with Mercedes. What about you? Who you think takes that?
If this was any other circumstance, this was Statlander, Willow, Queen Aminata, I'd go for them to win and be the champion. Athena, I'd pick her to be the champion. But Tony Storm, I need a retention. I need the retention. Like I just don't want to be in the world where Mercedes is the world champion again of AEW. I'm not saying again, but multi-time champion of every division at this point, man. Like I can't believe that we're about to endure more Monet. I'm not saying that like I'm like
Why? Like
I'm not saying I'm against it. I didn't say I'm against it, but it's just like yo, Tony Storm's cooking, man.
but I
Tony
mean,
Storm is sizzling.
her
Like,
losing the title doesn't mean that she's out of here.
it doesn't do anything bad because she's still going to be a monster gimmick. She's still going to hold it down.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I think she's always one promo away from being back in that title division anytime she wants to.
When was the title win? I forget when it was against Mariah May. Was it April?
I feel like it was before that.
That was March. So I guess at this point,
About
come
March,
July.
yeah.
So come July, it's a feasible, believable end to her title reign. Like it's been a fine 4.5 months.
Which is
Time to
cool.
start.
Yeah, she had like
That's what
that
I
was
think. It's
the
inevitable.
the Hollywood ending, right? With Mariah May was fire. I didn't really see anybody say anything bad about that match or that ending to that feud, right? So that was fire. She's been doing her thing since. Now you have a legit, 1 and 1A, 1 versus 1A match for the title. Like this is a solid run. That's why I say like all these, you don't have to have an 11-month title run for it to be considered a good title run. You just needs to be full of good, good matches, good feuds. So but again, like Tony Storm, anytime she can come out, cut a promo, she's back in the bit, what we talking about? It's Tony Storm.
Let's get to Night of Champions.
Night of Champions, man. Let me pull this up. This is, what is it, Saturday or Sunday? This is on June 28th. Today's the 26th, so this is Saturday. Night of Champions. Let me pull these matches up. All right, we have 6 matches.
They've touched down, so they've made it.
Yeah.
God bless. Amazing.
What a week. What a week as far as shoot news is concerned. God.
In the words of Vince McMahon, times like these, you gotta put a smile on people's faces.
Yeah, no doubt. All we heard was times like these, bro.
Yo, he really said that, son.
No, but we don't know what you said.
Oh, he said in times like these, you gotta put smiles on people's faces.
I'm out.
Yo, that's the best way to describe. That's how one person described going to sound at this time. Yo, I was crying, yo. Like, nah, that's really how they describe this trip.
we have to do it.
Gotta put smiles on people's faces during times like this.
What a time. What a time to be alive. What a time.
So get to the card that's gonna put a smile on all our faces.
VKM in the flesh, he lives.
With that said, show this card that is gonna have everyone watching, cheesing and grinning, and just turn all the turmoil in the world around. Because this is the card that's gonna turn the turmoil around.
I see no better match to start with Then Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross in a one-on-one match.
It's fair because he's a hometown, home country guy. That's a good one.
Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross.
Fun.
I think this is a Sami win. This feels like a great opener. It's like that energy. That feels like a great way to.
I agree.
To bring either that or it probably comes after something like the pick me up type of match. But Sami Zayn.
Karrion Kross gets to show that he can bump, despite what people say.
He takes a back bump. Take a shot for every back bump that Karrion Kross takes during this.
Karrion Kross will bump. There will be a bump meter on X, I'm sure. But yes, Sami gets this much needed W. Karrion Kross loses nothing. I don't know Karrion Kross' situation moving forward. If he resigns, if he stays, he goes. What say you before we move to the next match? Do you think Karrion Kross should just stay and hopefully see some more spotlight, or do you think like his time really should be up? Because the word is that his contract, is next on the chopping block as far as time goes, not like getting fired.
Look, let me put it this way. I don't know what. I don't see the path that all of a sudden, if he resigns, Karrion Kross is on TV a whole hell of a lot more than he is right now, or doing anything much more significant than what he's doing right now. So for that reason, I see he can probably bounce and just do his thing, apply his trades elsewhere. He's a guy that I can see going on a real nice monster indie run, touching down in Japan. For some weird reason, I see him linking up with the Good Brothers, which I think would be dope. He seems like a good brother. Like it makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense.
He seems definitely comfortable in the WWE orbit, but he's also a guy that could go back on the indie run with the years that he's had
and kill it
at this point, and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna just get hot again, like
and kill it. And he has the credibility as far as being an actual he has the martial arts background. He's a veteran as far as the wrestling industry is concerned. Period. So I think if he decides, or if they decide, or if it's mutually decided that we're not going to renew the contract, I think he's fine.
I just bring this up because as he gets into this feud with Sami Zayn around the time of this report that I read, this could be one of the final feuds you see prominently of Karrion Kross on TV. So it's like, all right, if Sami just kills him off in the best 2 out of 3, then it's like, yeah, I think he's probably done.
Yeah. We have in a street fight, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. I don't know a human being on earth, including Raquel Rodriguez, that would pick Raquel Rodriguez. Rhea Ripley is clearly taking the W here.
Could be a swerve and Raquel could win.
No, I can't.
Could be a swerve.
If it's a swerve, it's all storyline and it's basically whatever, feud Rhea Ripley is in. But nah. I don't see that happening at all, man.
I'm gonna go Raquel. That's where
I'm gonna tell you, Raquel don't agree with you, bro. So sorry, you're on an island of one, my man.
Rhea is back in the Judgment Day vortex. They have to continue this feud somehow, man. Roxanne Perez will cause a distraction, and then she'll just get the roll-up pin, and everyone will boo and be like, "Are you kidding me?" Because they have to have some type of moment to come out of that pay-per-view. And that's a moment of like, Raquel Rodriguez beat Rhea Ripley? Huh?
Yeah, that ain't the moment, bro. Like, we don't need that.
Bro, she's back in the Judgment Day vortex, yo. What else more do you want? A rematch on Raw again? Where she just ends up getting the pinfall? Like, they're going to feud 5 more times.
That sounds like fun. I'll catch the clips on YouTube.
Yeah,
we have the United States Championship one-on-one, Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. This is a match I'm looking forward to for sure.
It's got to be one of the sellers, Loki.
This is a good match. I definitely think it's going to be a good match. I can honestly see this being a DQ. I could see this being Hikuleo, his debut.
Yes.
Something like that. Even if there isn't a debut, I can see
The return of the Gorillas of Destiny.
Gorillas of Destiny, or even just Jeff Cobb getting involved. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be a match where they go back and forth for some time. I think Jacob Fatu could have him beat, and Solo Sokoa escapes by not being beat. But little DQ finish there.
Go with Jacob.
And the clean for the win or
Yeah.
DQ.
DQ.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess when we say solo for the DQ.
Yeah, I think Jacob Fatu
like that.
probably wins with a DQ. You know what I mean?
That.
Like,
There's got to
yeah,
be one match with some cockamamie antics in this card.
because
So.
this is the one that very clearly is not ending.
This has got to be bloodline rules, like hidden like bloodline rules gonna pop up. Like definitely JC Mateo interference.
Bro, this is going all the way through SummerSlam.
Yeah, like this ain't the last stop that we see of this feud. So
it's just the beginning.
Nobody takes a pinfall here. I definitely would feel more confident that nobody takes a pinfall here to preserve a SummerSlam rematch.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'll skip that. I'll go to, we have King of the Ring tournament final and the Queen of the Ring tournament final. Let's start with the Queen of the Ring. We have Asuka versus Jade Cargill. Of course, the winner is crowned Queen of the Ring and receives a match against the Raw Women's World Champion Io Sky or the SmackDown Women's Champ Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. So winner of this faces Io Sky or Tiffany Stratton one-on-one for a title match at SummerSlam. Asuka and Jade Cargill. I think this is how we finally get that really, really dope prime time premium Asuka versus Io Sky match.
I'm with you on that. I feel that.
Yeah, I think Asuka beats Jade Cargill. I think Jade Cargill still has unfinished business as far as the whole. I mean, Bianca Belair is out, obviously, with an injury, but that business ain't really finished. I think, Naomi being the Money in the Bank means that Jade Cargill has to try to insert herself in some way, shape, form, or fashion once she gets too close. So that's not really finished yet, and then the Bianca Belair, I don't know if there's a timetable or not as far as when she returns, but that's not wrapped up yet. Asuka, however, she just came back. She has that, that fresh coat of paint on her. And that match, Asuka versus Io Sky, that hasn't been like, again, a premium prime match. Time, but they haven't gotten like that slot that I think that type of a match deserves either, with enough time on a pay-per-view, where you can have a 20-minute match where they just go do your thing. Like, we'll fall back. Here's the finish. Y'all fill in the blanks. Do your thing. And I think we get that at SummerSlam. Asuka versus Io Sky. So Asuka takes that.
I'm going Jade. Jade matches aren't enjoyable, but Jade Cargill is a great person and a great personality and an overall amazing human being. We love Jade Cargill. You know what I mean?
Love Jade.
Don't love the matches, but you know what? Take the good with the bad, At least she's not injuring people. So let's just hope that Asuka pulls.
She hurts people.
She hurts people. Before she hurts people, starts becoming a champ.
She hurts people. No, that's Nia Jax.
That is definitely Nia Jax. If that catches on, that's fire. We got to start
that. That got to be a shirt.
Yeah, when we get that, when we go to a WWE show, we're definitely doing a She Hurts People chance. Right in dead silence of the match. She hurts people.
Right, yo, right where there's like a chin lock going on. She hurts people.
Yo, I guarantee you that's going viral, yo, to the point where they might have to like mute that. Like, nah. We know where this is coming from.
Yeah, yo, honestly, like if that's besides these hats, if that's the fingerprint that I leave on pro wrestling, I wouldn't be mad, bro.
Is if we start the wave of She Hurts People with Nia Jax. At the dead silence of a Nia Jax match, though, it can't even be like during her entrance. It's just like, she hurts people. Like, it's gonna.
Yo.
Woo! That's good.
That's very funny.
That is good.
That's very funny. That should be merch one way or another.
RSC.
Let's get those She Hurts People. Yo, Bug, man, get these She Hurts People.
Hurts people.
She hurt people tease. And we got the King of the Ring tournament final. Winner goes.
I was gonna say before. I'm saying Jade. Jade is definitely going to take the W, and I think go after Tiffany Stratton. win against Tiffany Stratton, and that's when Naomi cashes in and becomes the champion.
I'm not mad at that at all.
That's the only way we don't get
I'm
Io.
not mad at that at all.
Like there can't be any other option. Like Io and
But
Jade,
even, you know what though?
it just
Even if
don't. It's a swerve. If Naomi cashes in after Jade would technically beat Io, it's cool, but it's not the belt that she was going after. But then it's also Naomi is like, yo, listen, I'll deal with Tiffany Stratton later. You got your own problems. I just still gotta have unfinished business, and you not gonna be champion with me having this briefcase. That's the story that's about to start brewing. I feel like it's a really good alternative. Asuka and Io is cool, but like, what are they gonna do, man? Have some tag team matches and just like be aggressive and miss each other by accident and hit each other and just like bicker in Japanese?
well, who
Like,
knows? Like,
always
who knows?
right?
Like,
You know,
there
it'd be
could be
cool as a subplot, a good like side feud.
no,
They
but
probably be a
there
tag
could
team.
be
They
room.
probably be a tag team. Yes, that's what they do for SummerSlam. They probably have a match and then they just figure out that they're better as a tag team and then they become the tag team champions because we need women's tag teams. And if the Judgment Day are going to be champions,
I don't even
there
want
we
to see
go.
like I don't really want to even see like Asuka and Io as a tag team. But I would say like that. I'm not mad at that scenario. I'm not mad at that scenario as far as like Jade does win the belt, you know, and evil ass Naomi is the one that cashes in a row. Like you have a 5-minute reign, almost like Drew McIntyre at Mania when Punk
Yes.
cost him the title.
She still technically won the match and won the belt.
You're a champ, but you were the champ. You know?
Yes.
I wouldn't. That's an interesting little thing here. I think it'd be very very interesting to see the discourse online where Jade Cargill is a women's world champion in WWE. That'll be an entertaining day on Twitter.
No, that's
Sure.
actually going to be a praise day. The discourse online is going to be when Jade Cargill pins Asuka. Like, that's what's going to be the. Oh man, Asuka really pulled one out of Jade, man. Like that match went 9 minutes. Yo, that was the longest Jade Cargill match I've ever
About
seen.
the longest Jade Cargill match of her career.
Yo, that's what's gonna happen, man. I
9
like the
minutes
option.
and
I like
53.
it.
I think either way that we just laid
Yes.
it out, I wouldn't be mad at. And then plus, to be honest, if one happens, the other can still happen. They just got to figure out what the road is.
Yeah, there'll be a good contender qualifier match.
Yeah.
This is pro wrestling. Like, you just throw another qualifier out
That's
there.
fine. That's fine. So I'm not. So you're going with Jade, Queen of the Ring. I'm
Yes.
going with Asuka, Queen of the Ring. We have the King of the Ring tournament where Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. The winner of that faces either Gunther for the for the World Heavyweight Championship or John Cena for the WWE Championship, and that is also at SummerSlam.
You also got a parentheses Goldberg. Goldberg could be the champion. Could be facing a Goldberg encounter. Don't forget that.
Yeah, no doubt. So we have Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes against either Gunther or John Cena at SummerSlam for one of those world championships, bro.
You got a valid contender, man. Goldberg could actually win this match, yo. I'm not going to discredit it.
Is that at Night of Champions?
That's Saturday night's main event.
Okay.
The 12th of July.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah, so nah, that's not happening. But
hey, man, crazy things have happened, yo. Just want to say I put that out there. I would not be surprised to circle back that following Thursday. Like, yo, man, Goldberg really beat Gunther.
tough times. Tough times.
Sicko mode. But yes, let's get back to the program.
AJ Francis is out of here. Your man Santana just hit him with a Death Valley driver through 2 tables off the ring.
They gotta just have a death match, last man standing, and that feud, and let Santana figure out a way to get back into the world title picture ASAP, yo. AJ Francis is just gonna be in the tag division. Let him rock and just do that, man.
Yeah.
Put that out. Get Santana out of there.
So we got Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. I mean, Randy Orton versus. I see this. We did Randy Orton versus Cena already.
Yes, we have, but we also done Cody Rhodes and John Cena already.
Yeah, but as far as marquee things you would want to hear, or pardon me, want to see again, I think the that Randy match versus John was a little rough.
Yo, Randy Orton, John Cena, Part 25, SummerSlam,
Nah,
MetLife Stadium,
that was a little rough, man. I can
VKM
see.
back, old regime back.
So a while ago, I said that I thought
Nasty.
SummerSlam was when Cena would drop the title, and then from that point on, for the remainder of his retirement run, we'd get back to face John Cena.
Correct.
Do you think that that happens? Regardless of obviously, I think the chances are a little higher if Cody is the one that but put who wins this match to the side right now. Do you think at SummerSlam Cena drops the title, and that's where we get at least a siege planet for the face Cena for the remainder of his run?
No. I think we get a Cena reign all the way to the end. It's gonna
Heel
milk.
all the way to the end,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna milk this cow the whole way through.
but he's a heel. He retires as a heel.
He comes around towards the final stretch, so we don't have time to even think twice about regretting like loving John Cena. It's like, all right, this is the final act. We love John Cena. Yay, go home.
I mean, but think about like SummerSlam is first weekend in August, August 2nd and August 3rd. Once we get through SummerSlam, we're in pretty much the fourth quarter. We're at the tail end, September, October, November, December. So we're in the third of the year. That's the tail end. He's out of here in December.
And there's still 6 PLEs to have between those times that you just listed.
Which is true, but SummerSlam is marquee. You know,
He's only gonna wrestle one night.
I'm just saying, like, I wonder how. I think the question is like, how much longer is this championship reign? And who do you think he loses it to? Because let's play this out. He's the champ at SummerSlam. He's defending. Let's say Cody Rhodes is the guy to beat him. Cody Rhodes doesn't get the job done. Is it Roman Reigns? Like, who
Roman
actually
Reigns
beats him?
still has to return at some
Roman
point,
Reigns is in the tuck.
which is very intriguing. Which
Roman Reigns is in the tuck.
I think that's the SummerSlam surprise that we get every year. I think is the Roman Reigns final return, and he's just like, "Yo, I'm not even gonna deal with this like bloodline ish. I'm gonna just go after John and just get my belt back, and then I'll just circle back to y'all losers after this fact." That's
Okay.
what I feel like Roman could just get right to. I don't think John loses though. I don't think Roman even gets the belt back. I just think John rides this whole heel shtick and title reign out. You don't need to swap the belt. We've already gotten used to it. We've been used to John Moxley and the Death Riders. What's John Cena in this role? He's just scorched.
I mean, we
Scorched
just
on
came
Smack.
off of the Roman Reigns 4-year reign. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. I was just more so thinking like the biggest factor going into this is like I just don't see this man retiring as a guy that's getting booed. I think at some point he goes back and because the thing could be there's like some loss or some lesson that's learned along the way that he has to apologize to the fans in the ring for everything he's been saying before he's out of here. So what's the
Which he
trigger for that?
does that night. He does that final match after he gets beat and the title's
Yeah, but
off
that's
him.
kind of cheap though. That's kind of cheap. I'm not gonna see you again. So all right, my bad.
He'll pop up on Monday Night Raw and come on, man. You know, he's not just gonna just like, all right, boots in the ring, it's over. He'll pop back up on Raw, I'm sure, and give the final, like, yo, the final goodbye. Peace, love, everything is all good. Here's the highlight reel and walk out like that. Because here's the thought for you. How do you even book just summarize 4 weeks post him going back to being a babyface if he loses the title at SummerSlam?
Say it again. Say it again. Book the 4 weeks after SummerSlam if Cena loses.
And becomes just if he loses the belt and goes back to being a babyface, you've got 4 weeks. How does that even look? because now he's gonna possibly go back to the old shtick. Am I wrong? Am I right?
No, I definitely think he goes back to the old stick. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, I think he goes back to the old stick. I think from that point out, it's probably just dream match Cena. Like now, you get to the point of who are
Yo,
you?
my man
Who?
got his AW bag. He said, "Yo, dream match Cena, man. We gonna see Cena
Who?
AJ. We gonna
Yeah.
see Cena and Aleister Black one more time."
Because think about it, bro. Like I think you get that you probably would get a nice last little run of Cena matches that don't have to have anything to do with a title.
Right. Yeah. Yo, he has 16 dates. Yo, he's not doing John Cena Andrade. It's not happening.
I
That's
tell
what I'm
you,
saying. He can't lose the belt, yo, because he has 16 dates left, and he's making us let that be known. That's already a dead giveaway. Like that's why I've just like got used to it. It's like he's just gonna hold on to the belt to the end of the year.
so who's he losing to?
Cody in the
What at,
three
at,
match.
at like the Garden match, the Garden
Yeah,
Christmas show?
yeah, the three match. Yeah, in the three-peat. I think Cody like veers off and like I don't know, like becomes the Intercontinental Champion for like a quick little run. Like, yeah, nah, I don't know. Cody with a quick little mid card run. I say he gotta have it for like a month. I mean, a month ain't bad, but like quick little, I'm gonna grab a belt real quick. I'm gonna get the juice back. I lost the scene. I gotta figure it out. I gotta get back on my ish. Sounds crazy, but crazier things have happened, man. Jey Uso just lost the belt after like 3 weeks, so.
So what we're saying here, do you see Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes winning this and picking Gunther for the SummerSlam match? Either or.
Randy could get to 15 faster if he goes after Gunther.
Is that what
Or
happens here?
Goldberg. Or Goldberg. We could hit Randy Orton and Goldberg at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight title. Yo. Yo. Woo-hoo.
Yo, wrap this up, bro.
Woo-hoo.
Wrap this
Boy.
all the way up.
Randy Orton, Goldberg for the world title. Oh, man. I feel like you're not even jacking it.
Yo. Oh man.
They gotta give the people what they want, never before.
Yo, where's Tony Schiavone when you need him? That'll put asses in seats.
Yo, you never seen Randy Orton versus Goldberg, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn. I need it. I need that. This man said, yo, let's put Randy Orton in the ring with William Goldberg in the year of 2025 in New Jersey.
Yo, MetLife, B. It's a big deal.
In New Jersey.
Yo, Goldberg's final.
Man said the Giants play in New York, but Bill Goldberg and Randy Orton, that match is taking place in New Jersey.
Yo, it's the final match of Bill Goldberg's career. It's the legend killer, Randy Orton, versus the world heavyweight champ.
Yo, you looking forward to that? Is that what brings you over the fence to finally buying a ticket?
Yo,
you gonna buy that ticket?
Crazy. It sounds crazy, but again, crazier things have happened in this organization, man. Why don't we act like this could actually be a blip of possibility?
You about to get them ringside seats for that one, ain't you?
Yo, Randy Orton Goldberg is gonna appeal to the audience.
Well, I'm not in that audience, so I hope they enjoy that. That might be when I make whatever, man. Randy Orton versus Cody.
Randy Orton wins. He goes on to face Goldberg for the world title at SummerSlam.
Yo, Jermaine, peace, guy.
Peace,
guy. Yo, appreciate you for that hat cop, my boy. Appreciate you. You're going Randy Orton.
For ish and giggles, I want to go Randy Orton, but I really feel like Cody is going to end up winning, and we have the Cena match again. Although it could go either way, yo. I can't front. This match.
Yeah, this is a tough one again. Like, yeah, this is one again. I can't really 100% commit either way. gun to head, like I'd say that Cody versus Cena feels like a SummerSlam match, unless they feel like they want to do that Randy Orton versus John Cena one more time. Um, I can see them like either way, right? If Cody faces Cena at SummerSlam, they're going to have another match before the end of the year, regardless.
Right.
If Randy versus Cena happens at SummerSlam, I think that might be it for the two of them, right?
It's
And
got to be.
then
It's got to be the last match Randy Orton and John Cena ever
yeah,
had.
I think that's
in
the
history.
last one. So if they want to do that on like a big stage, SummerSlam is perfect for that. You know, I might go Randy Orton. I think I might have talked myself into it, and I don't know what the path is for Gunther. You know, like you said, if Randy Orton is definitely going to win the championship, it's probably going to happen against Gunther faster than it happens against Cena. But he
That's
already
the
lost to Gunther. You
But
already took
that's a
the L.
rematch. That's a rematch because that match was still, a little. Well, he did use it. All right, so this becomes the Randy Orton redemption story against Gunther, and like, yo, I can beat you for real, for real. I know you beat me twice. I got this. It's Reign 15. It gives the people what they want. In case y'all don't want to get Randy Orton, Goldberg, y'all get Randy Orton, Gunther 3.
Okay.
And Cody just wins a eliminator qualifier tournament gauntlet match in between now and SummerSlam and gets back to SummerSlam. That's it.
I'm going Randy Orton. He beats Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton versus John Cena one last time at SummerSlam. Final answer.
I mean, it's interesting that we both don't go Cody, although I'm a Cody maniac. But Randy wins and goes after the World Heavyweight title to get to 15 faster.
But then what? Like, so do is the Randy and John Cena feud is definitely done. Like, we just whatever their
Yeah,
last match was, that's their last match.
yeah, we're taking it back to the golden ages. Randy Orton and John Cena are both respective champions of the brand.
Woo.
yo, I can take Cody having the championship, but I know it just ain't the best move right now. It'll make the crowd turn even faster, I feel like. We don't need Cody with the belt back just yet. And that's my guy. I always prefix that. So, John Cena, Randy Orton, throwback. That's how we end in this summer. This summer, it's the John Cena, Randy Orton takeover.
So it seems like because we do have one more match left on this card, that it is a foregone conclusion that John Cena defeats CM Punk in this WWE Championship match, or
Yo,
at least walks out of Saudi Arabia with the title.
it's crazy. I actually almost forgot about this match, yo. How loaded that card ended up being.
CM Punk, altogether, I think this is six matches.
You know what's crazy? I think it's because it's
Six
a
matches,
WWE PLE. We're like, yo, wait a minute. Is it 4 matches? Like this ain't over already?
right? The opener and then the main event.
Yeah.
There's the opener, there's 3 tag matches, there's main event, and you can go home. It's still lunchtime, my boy.
It's like, wow, y'all actually got a full card this time around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, they got, 6 matches, full card.
yeah. Night of Champions with minimal titles on the line.
Like, yo, it took us like 15 hours and 3 flights to get over here, bro. Like, we might give him one more. Give him
Night
one
of
more.
Champions and the World Tag Team Champions can't be found. Yo, it's hilarious what this PLE has turned into, yo.
Yo, the New Day. Put Street Profits aside. The New Day are damn near not ever on TV. Like, I got the Netflix, the commercial-free Netflix, right? But I think all of their segments are during the regular commercial break.
Yo, those guys are making the best of their time.
What they're doing is cool.
The tag titles of the 24/7
bro.
championship. The tag team titles are the 24/7 championship right
New
now.
Day of the champs, Street Profits of the champs, and I don't know what's the Street Profits. What are they doing? They in there with Motor City Machine Guns.
They're gonna lose those belts at some point because they haven't done anything and they need a spark. So unfortunately, that's what means the title change.
Fam, don't we understand this by now? Like, champions have the title and then nothing happens, and they say, "Oh, well, they got to lose it to this person or this team. That's going to spark it up," and then the same thing happens, and then whoever beats them does nothing with the title.
Nothing at all.
Oh, well, they got to lose to this person because they need a spark. You need a little bit of life in the division, and then the same thing happens. Repeat. repeat, rinse, repeat. What are we doing?
I really seen it.
What are we doing, bro?
Tag division is toast, my boy. Super toast, yo. So that's Night of Champions, as far as
But
the other champions. The
yeah,
other
CM Punk
Wait a minute.
versus John Cena.
Intercontinental title ain't on the line for the women's?
Huh.
When are they doing that match? I guess on
It'd be on SmackDown. SmackDown is in Saudi, so maybe this. I don't know, but nah, there are 6 matches, and we've gone through 5 of them already.
it sounds crazy. Who's the Intercontinental champion? I know you listed it off earlier.
Lyra.
No, for the men's. No, it's actually Becky. But who's the men's?
Oh, men's IC is Dom. I think Dom is injured, isn't he?
Oh yes, there
Dom
we
is
go.
injured.
Dom. That's why. I was like, where is the title? There was supposed to be him and AJ Styles. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton is not on the card. Dom is not on the card. Becky Lynch is not on the card. Zelina Vega is not on the card.
Io ain't had a match. Io
No,
don't even wrestle.
No Io, no New Day, and no Street Profits. And
You
no
got the
Liv Morgan and Raquel, by the way, are the tag champs. But Liv Morgan she dislocated her shoulder or something like that. So that's kind of up in the air right now too.
That is the Night of Champions. So the only titles that are actually on the line for the PLE currently are World, Undisputed, US.
Yeah, it's WWE Championship, US Championship, right? And then we have 2 shots at championships with the King and Queen of the Ring.
And then the US title.
So there's 2 non-title matches, 2 one-on-one championship matches, and 2 contendership matches.
And the US title.
That's what I'm saying. There's 2 title matches. There's the US champ and the WWE Championship. There's 2 non-title matches, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez and Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross.
Oh my
and then
God.
there's 2 contendership matches.
I was thinking about Gunther in the world title. I was like, yo, but yeah, Saturday night's main event. Yo, all these PLEs be messing me up, son.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I literally was like, oh, wait a minute. Where is that match? But yes, that is Saturday night's
There's a lot.
Yeah.
CM Punk, John Cena. What you got? I mean, foregone conclusion, because we've booked John Cena to December, to the Madison Square Garden Christmas show, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Cena.
But is it a pinfall? Is it a shenanigan type of deal? Like, how do you think this match ends? I think that's the real story. It's not who walks out with the title, but how does the match end? What would make sense, like, for a CM Punk? Like, does Seth Rollins get involved some kind of way? Because we know Seth and CM Punk are going to be fighting to the end of the year. Like, what costs or who costs CM Punk this match?
R-Truth.
Logan Paul?
Ron Killings.
Oh, come on.
Yo, come on, man. I'm just booking like ish right now because this is what's possibly going to be fed to us. So
but I don't want to see, like, after all of that, I don't want to see Ron Killings circle the block and then side with John Cena. Like, what are we doing?
Nah, he's not going to side with Cena, but he's going to end up inadvertently costing Punk the match.
That's whack too. Because then where do we go? It's not going to be Ron Killings is not getting a title shot, and CM Punk is going to lose his title shot. So then it's just on to the next one for John Cena.
I'm saying Dick Kick City from Cena, belt to the head, and that's the match. That's just how it's going to. I think it's going to be formula. That's all it's going to end up turning into. It's going to be a solid match because it's Punk and Cena, the nostalgia, the callbacks that they'll have. I'm sure there's going to be a WWE vault that's going to be dropping very shortly of the history of their feud. You know what I mean? So it'll be cool. But I just think Dick Kick City, title shot to the head, and Cena just wins no matter who comes out, how they come out, whether they come out, whether nobody comes out.
I think that this is a clean pinfall victory for John Cena because Triple H is going to LOL because he's messing with Punk.
Oh, come on.
LOL.
Oh, man. Not the
I think
politics.
I think this is a clean victory for John Cena. I also think that this has to be a clean victory for Cena because he's not losing the title, but I don't think that there's room really to run this back where do they run it back? we're looking at what's happening with SummerSlam. So the next build is going to be with either Randy Orton or Cody going into SummerSlam in August, all of July. So unless they do something on TV, I see this being kind of the last match for Punk and Cena, period. So it'd be kind of whack to end it on a non-finish. Now they do run, the rematch, and we'll run the rematch, and we'll have the little, 3 matches in a row type of joint. They can get them out of the way pretty quick if they choose to. But if we're saying that this is the last time Punk and Cena fight each other, has to be a definitive pinfall.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good, yo. I think that'll be the end that gives the people, the feel good that they want. I can see it. I can see it.
I can see John Cena beating him, bro.
I can
John
see it
Cena
being
clean.
clean.
I'm going John Cena clean, Triple H, LOL.
I ain't gonna knock that, but I could also see it being formalic. Yo, I got 14 days left. Eat a dick, belt shot, and the crowd is just like John Moxley, Death Riders deflated, and then it goes back to.
Nah, I think they can get away. They can get away with whatever kind of shenanigan win, because I think everybody understands this is going to be the last time you see Cena. I think they have that in their back pocket. They could always play that. At the end of the day, it's the last time you're going to see Cena. So whether it's a definitive win or shenanigans, it's going to be a reaction, because we ain't going to see him tomorrow. There ain't no next time. So they have that in their back pocket. That's a luxury.
Yes.
At the end of the day, this is still the John Cena retirement tour, whether he's a heel or not.
You right.
But
you're right about that.
I'm going with obviously Cena retains. He's walking out with that championship. And that, folks, is Night of Champions on Saturday, man. Got that little PLE popping up. We'll see if our predictions are correct or not.
Sersky.
But unless you got something else, my brother, this is episode 121 of the Ringside Club, man.
McCann, we appreciate y'all. Much love and support. You know what I mean? Cop the merch, subscribe online, tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah. We'll be back active on Thursday nights. I try to be stationary and not always at the gym at this time. It just works out that way. You know what I'm saying? Car sessions always work. But it's all good, man.
Sure.
CRSC, we live and healthy.
Car sessions is crazy, pause.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was wild. Ladies and gentlemen, man, this has been the Ringside Club. Make sure you head over. That was wild. Make sure you hit that QR code that's right next to my head, wrestlehats.com. Appreciate y'all. With that being said, until next time, for Blame Boogie, for Chad Law, my name is A.O. Baker. This is the Ringside Club. We out here. Peace.